Hey, JD from FluxFocus. I'm going to do another example for the embedded master. This time it'll be a video VGA example, so I'll call this one video test, and it's micro framework window application. And under references we need to add a couple of references in here, and one of them is in the embedded master library, and add that in there and go to the program. And actually, before I do anything, I'll just compile this one and run it, but first I need to go to the properties of the solution and just make sure that we're using USB and that the device is populated. Okay. Build OK. We'll deploy it. Then we can debug it. And if I flick over my monitor, and there's the hello world printed in the middle of the screen, black on white. So back in the code, we'll have a quick look at this. There's some stuff in the code that's been added for button press functionality, but we're going to ignore that for the moment. We're just interested in the window graphics. So we're creating an application and we're assigning a window for it. We're creating a window and then we're running it. And here's the create window, a new window object, assigning it a screen width and a screen height, and text is a window control, so the window object understands what text is, and you can assign it a font and assign it a string from resources, and you can align that string. Here it's aligning the string to the center of horizontal and vertical alignment, so that's why it displays in the middle of the screen. And here we're assigning that to the window, but we're not going to do any text here, so we'll take this out for the moment, and we're going to modify this one. But the first thing we'll do is create a bitmap object. New bitmap, and the width and the height are going to be screen height, screen width. So system metric screen width and system metrics screen height. And the first thing we're going to do with that bitmap is clear it, and then I'm going to set up a couple of variables here, and one of them will be red, one of them will be green, and one of them will be blue. I'm also going to create an integer, and I'm going to call this y line, and I'll show you what I'll do with that in a second. And I'm going to create a loop, and this loop will loop as long as y line is less than system metrics screen height. Then I'm going to create a couple of for loops, and we'll start with red. So red is going to cycle around and for this loop we're going to draw some lines. Okay, and at the top here I've added spot.presentation.media, and I'll just bring up context again. The color here, I can use color utility, color from RGB, to create these colors, and so that'll be C red, C green, and C blue. The line thickness will be 1, and we're always starting from 0 on the left side. The Y coordinates are always Y line. The far side of the line will be system metrics.screen width, and again Y line. Okay. And also for each one of these we have to implement Y line. So I'll create 3 of these, and this one will be C green, and this one will be C blue, and it'll continue doing that until we've run out of space on the screen. So it'll do red, some gradient of red, a gradient of green, and a gradient of blue, and once blue is finished it'll start adding red into the blue again. But for that to work properly I need to zero out the red there and zero out the green there, and I won't bother adding it there at the end. Like I said, it'll start mixing red in again for a bit of purple. Here the window object doesn't understand the bitmap, but it understands an object called image, and we can assign that our bitmap. And then here the child can be the image. Okay, that's errors taken care of. Let's deploy. And we'll start debugging. Flick the screen over. So flicking over to the monitor, here's our gradients from dark red to brighter red, dark green to brighter green, dark blue to lighter blue, and then you it doesn't come up very well on my monitor with the camera, I'm afraid, but so the at the bottom there it's starting to gradient into purple again, but my camera and my monitor don't want to play with each other. So there's colours out of the VGA with the embedded master. Thanks for watching. Next time we might try to do something a little more exciting with the graphics. Cheers.